Hello, 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 hello. So excited to be here. My name's Lauren Peake, bariatric nurse specialist and fellow patient. I am just so thrilled to be here with you again today on another episode of our Berry Babes podcast. So there's so much I'm looking forward to covering in these podcasts, and I really want to know from you, the listeners, as well, if there's anything like burning that you just really want to know as well, because I just have a wealth of knowledge that I'm just so excited to share with the world. And yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And yeah, every episode I've realized is a different length. So bear with me as we fine tune these things. And yeah, I'm excited to bring more and more information to the forefront for you. We're going to do interviews and all sorts across this podcast. So please, I don't feel like it's just going to be my voice yarning on every time, but yeah, I'm excited to share client testimonials and just the journey and other people's journeys and their experiences and yeah, go from there. So today I thought it would be a really cool idea to chat around navigating social situations and dining out and family meals because I know the social pressure of being out, eating out, and all that comes with that can be really daunting and challenging, particularly in that first year after surgery, if not beyond. I know even now sometimes I still get a little bit stuck when I'm eating out in terms of feeling like I should be feeling like I should be finishing my plate, and also just feeling a little bit rude around not finishing everything and feeling like people are judging me. And there's a lot of negative mindset that goes around these events. And also particularly around eating out, like family with family, or particularly when you haven't told them that you've had surgery. So I'm going to be offering advice on how to handle social situations like eating out or family gatherings without losing track of your goals as well, because it's really, really important that we stick the course and understand where to and where we're headed. But as usual, I love to share stories from my own life. So I will start there and go from that. So I remember my very first meal after weight loss surgery, like out. So we actually went to a cafe for lunch, and whilst it was really good, I was so overwhelmed and daunted around what I was going to get. So I ended up ordering an omelette, which was a really great option. Like, highly recommend if you can get an omelette, get an omelette. But oh my gosh, it was massive. I don't know how many eggs they used in it, but it was humongous. And I was like, this is great value for money, but I cannot eat hardly any of it. It literally looked like I barely touched it. I can't remember exactly how far post-op I was, but yeah, it was a very huge omelette. And like that memory has just been burned into my brain for forevermore. So um it was tasty though. I do remember it tasting good, but I do remember all the feelings and all the emotions that really sat with that. And I thought, doom and gloom, is this my life forever that I can't even eat like a quarter of an omelette? This is insane. Like, I obviously signed up for this. The weight was falling off, which was great, but yeah, not being able to eat an omelette. And just all, I think the biggest hang up for me was that I felt like the chef was going to judge me, which is absolutely ridiculous because they don't care. They get paid irrelevant. They get paid by the hour. So, but that was a story that I was telling myself that, yeah, I was going to get judged and the wait staff were going to be like, oh, is there something wrong with the food? And really there isn't. There really wasn't. I just didn't have a very big stomach. And then rationalizing me was all like, ah, I could just say I'm not feeling very well and all these fun things. But the reality is I don't have to justify myself to anyone. And that's a really big mindset change when you're a chronic people pleaser like me. And just changing up how you show up for yourself and for others, it can be massive. The other thing that I would like to jump in and share is that I actually didn't tell my in-laws, my sister-in-laws, my mother and father-in-laws that I'd had surgery. That was one of my biggest kept secrets. And I actually I was of the opinion that they didn't need to know, and that's fine. And so if you haven't told people you haven't had surgery, that you've had surgery, that's absolutely fine. Honestly, you got to do what suits you. I was worried about the judgment. I was worried about how it was going to be perceived. But you know what? It was the best decision I ever made was having surgery. And so that was actually something that I had to get past when I started doing this work, doing the coaching, doing supporting women after weight loss surgery, because I quickly realized that they were going to find out. So I managed to keep it quiet for 3 years. My family knew. I was pretty open and honest with them, but I just hadn't told my husband's family because I didn't think they needed to know. And that's okay. That is okay. And sharing that was really cool in terms of becoming authentic with myself. But it also was really challenging when we would have dinner with them or when we would do social stuff because one, cheese and crackers and chips and dip are my absolute kryptonite and something that I just will go to town and eat until it's gone, which is, unless you know, you don't know, but lighter foods, do they just keep going down? And so that was really challenging when you go to a family roast and I had like three things on my plate because that was all I could fit. And I'm like, I'm full. And everyone's like, Are you sick? And I'm like, No, I'm fine. And so that was really challenging. But I managed to last 3 years. 3 years with, and I didn't actually have to come clean about it. So just so you know, it is possible. If you're thinking about surgery and you're like, what are people going to think? Please know that we all have these little hang-ups around how how we think our family is going to respond to these things and whatnot. So yeah, that's my little stories around eating out and family gatherings. But the biggest tip is don't fill your plate up. If you're at a family function, just take what you think you need, and you're probably going to take more than you need. And so be very mindful or don't pick as well. So often at these family events and functions, you tend to put yourself in a bit of a challenging situation, or at least I know I did, in terms of knowing that chips and dip are my kryptonite. And actually, it hasn't been until lately where actually been managed to be able to control myself around the chips and dip and stuff because I still was like, screw it, it's right there. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna eat it because it's there. I'm not anti cheese and crackers. I'm not anti chips and dip. I'm not anti salami and cheese, whatever. Like if anything on there, I'd prefer that you had the cheese and the salami because it's higher protein. However, it hasn't been until lately that I've actually discovered that I can say no. And I think that's been one of the biggest revelations of my whole journey was actually realizing that I had the power and the control, whereas previously I just thought I just have no willpower on this. It just is what it is. It's going to be what it is. And that's not true, but that's the truth that I was living in. And so if you're stuck in that, you're not alone. You like I'm 6 years into my journey, like, and you're not alone. But just know that you have the ability to regain that control around food. And so I think that's really important to know that it doesn't have to be all consuming and control you, like chips and dip was for me. Oh my gosh. And I don't even feel triggered by it anymore. So like me sitting here talking about it doesn't make me want to go and eat it, which is really cool because old me would be like, oh, okay, I really need this now after I've been chatting about it. But that's the power of the work that we do. These new tools that I have found are just mind-blowing. They just change everything. You have the power to be the best version of you. You have the power to transform. You have the power to say no. And a prime example, I went to my sister-in-law's birthday party a couple of weeks ago. And old me, I was sitting right in front of the platter with all the food in front of me, the chips, the dip, the cheese, the crackers, the grapes, the salami, everything was right there. And I knew we were there for dinner. So I was like, do you know what? New me made the most amazing decision that I didn't even actually know was possible for me. And I had none. And I said, I'm having we're having dinner soon. I'm gonna get too full and not be able to have dinner. And so I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. And I was so proud of myself. And equally, like the thoughts and the noise did kind of show up in terms of, oh, what are they going to think? She's not eating. No one thought anything because everyone's too worried about themselves. And so these tools that I have to share, I just want to change your life with. That my only goal in everything that I do is to change people's lives. I want you to live the best version of your life because I know how amazing it is to live the best version of your life. And if I could just share it with everybody, that would be amazing. And so please know everything that you think that people are thinking about you, they probably aren't. And if they are, it's none of your business. You live in an altered world where everything going on up in here you think is reality, but people don't think the same things that you think. They're too busy worried about themselves. And so when you're out dining out, enjoy it. Enjoy the food. Aim to choose something with high in protein. And then equally, make sure that you are able to just enjoy it because life's too short to not enjoy dining out. Life's too short to not spend time with those that you love. See, I could have avoided my husband's family for those 3 years because I was too scared to socialize with them and eat around them because they couldn't eat much and they were going to think I was anorexic or whatever extra stories my brain was coming up with around that. But the reality is, people don't care. They really don't. I actually got a lot of questions from his family around, well, what are you doing? How are you losing all this weight? And I just said that it was portion control. That it was in a way, but that was my way around addressing that. So take what you need from this. I'm so excited to share everything that I've learned across this journey with you. And equally, this is the perfect time in my dining out guide, so my dining out survival guide, I've got heaps of amazing tips and tricks in there. So if you're like, ah, oh, Lauren, I get it, but I'm still struggling with what to choose when I'm dining out and eating and all that fun stuff, grab the survival guide. It's free. It will give you some amazing ideas and tips and tricks on getting sorted when you're eating out. And yeah, lots of suggestions as well in there. So I made sure that I chucked in a list of some foods that were safer options on the list. And whilst there is no good or bad food, obviously we want to be living a lower carbohydrate life after surgery. So if you're looking for things to eat, aim for something that's keto or low carb because that's going to be the better option for you. You're not going to get as full on all the empty calories like breads. But equally, if you want it, remember 80% of the time we should be eating well, 20% of the time allow yourself to have little ups and downs with that. But yeah, so oh, actually, I did want to touch base on shared lunches because I think that's another one that pops up for a lot of people. At the time of filming this, it's just coming into Christmas season as well. So might be really, really good timing for some of you to look at what you're going to be doing for the festive period because there's always lots of lollies, there's always lots of candy, there's always lots of sweets, all that kind of thing that is really hard to say no to when you have no willpower. When you live in that old mindset of I have no control, right? And so making sure that you take something that you're going to eat that's going to fill you up really well, so a higher protein option is going to be a really great option for your shared lunches, for your parties where taking a plate as expected and equally planning. So going back to the 80% of the time, if you know, hey, this week we have got a shared lunch and I'm actually going to be okay with just eating a little bit of what I want to eat from that, that's okay if that's your plan. However, if it's not your plan and you're like, actually, I'm really trying to knuckle down at the moment and I don't want to, then it's around making sure that you take the food that is going to serve you and keep you full so that you're not reaching for all the sweets and all the extraness. Or it could be putting a limit on yourself around how much of this you're going to allow yourself to have. So there's a box of chocolates in the staff room, and you're like, actually, I'm going to let myself have one day, or I'm not going to let myself have any. The fun thing is that you're an adult. woo, and you get to make these decisions. And so it's not for me to sit there and dictate what is good or bad or right or wrong for you, but it's around you learning to parent yourself and deciding what is okay in your world. What is okay to you? And if you want extra support around the mindset and you're like, Lauren, I want that freedom to not touch the food platters. I want that freedom to not reach for the chips and dip or the lollies on the table. Let me know. Let's book in some coaching and let's get you sorted. Join our Success Club. Success Club is where the most amazing women and men hang out and we just support each other. And there's recipes and there's just highs, lows. It doesn't matter. We're all there day in, day out, showing out for each other. But otherwise, if group things are not for you, that's cool too. I do one-on-one coaching. So whatever works, I will make it work for you. So looking forward to hearing from you if you're like, yes, coaching is for me. So send us an email to the link below if you want any more information on our coaching. Otherwise, download the free dining out guide. This is going to be absolutely perfect for you. Even print it out, put it in your wallet, ready for when you are dining out so that you've got something to refer back to and be like, oh, actually, that's a good option. So if there's nothing else, I am so excited to close off this episode. And yeah, I can't wait to catch you in the next one. Take care. Happy junk-free eating life.